Patrick, guess what came in the mail today?
Oh, what?
This.
Stick it in!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the M&K Productions Podcast. It's the classic two buddy cop comedy type podcast where it's just your original two hosts. I'm Mac from Mac Movie Reviews, and I'm joined here by the K portion of the podcast, Kristen, aka Miss Flamingo. How are you doing today, Kristen?
Hey, how are you, Mac?
I'm good. I am been riding high because personally I got a new job.
And that's something to celebrate that on here.
Yeah, I'm going to be working at the local TV station in my town.
That's so exciting.
Yeah,
what
but it won't.
Programs do they show? So
It's
the audience can get a feel what they.
They use the CBS, ABC, and NBC in New England. So if you get one of those, I'm going to be working on the behind the scenes with that one.
Excellent. Well,
but I can't talk. I'm in an NDA.
Yeah, we can't talk about it on this show.
Yeah, but that's my new position. Don't worry, it's not going to change anything with the podcast. We're still going to be better, but this might be better because my schedule now is going to be 8:30 to 5. So
everybody's schedule is going to be different. I mean, look at my crazy work schedule.
Yeah, been busy.
We're both busy.
Yeah,
but we're still going to make time for the podcast as always because we love talking with each other and we love sharing our thoughts about movies with you guys.
Yeah, so it's been a crazy period between last episode and this episode. So I got the new job, and then we saw a couple movies. I saw Gran Turismo this past weekend. It was fine. 3 out of 4 for video game adaptations this year, but it's still been a good year for video game properties, in my opinion.
What day did you see it on?
I saw it on National Cinema Day. I'm never going there again because holy shit, that was so packed.
I went also on National Movie Day to Cinema Day to see Blue Beetle. I didn't get to see it opening weekend.
Did you like it?
I think it wasn't too bad. I liked it just as much as I enjoyed the new Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
But, it was good. Like it was solid enough, That's all I could say. I thought it was cute.
You know what I like most?
The only complaint is I thought the story did drag a little too long, but I did like the direction of it.
I will say that at least this is a better one too, because it could be easily put into James Gunn's new DC and not in the old one. It was made under the old regime, but it's so self-contained that you can put it in any timeline. That's
what I thought, and when I realized it wasn't under the James Gunn umbrella, because my fiance thought it was, but it wasn't.
No, this was made back in like the Walter Hamada era, because remember they announced the pre-production at the DC Fandom in 2020.
Yes, and then that got all changed with some recent changes, but it can join under, like what you just said, the James Gunn umbrella, and I think it would because the actor who stars
that guy
who stars Zolo is a really talented actor. If you haven't watched him in the Karate Kid series Cobra Kai,
I thought I knew
watch
it.
him.
I thought he looked familiar. I'm like, he looks like I've seen him before.
I thought he's really good in the Cobra Kai series, and I liked him here. So,
but yeah, Gran Turismo. I like Gran Turismo. It was pretty fun. I didn't play the games growing up, but it's a nice racing movie. We'll say a little awkward when they used the crash as a narrative element. They're like because the guy who it's based on, he had a crash back in 2015 and killed somebody. In the movie, they use it as like a narrative element. It's like you can do the next race, you can place the podium in Le Mans. I'm like, that's a little weird.
And this must be a huge step for Neil Blomkamp, correct?
I mean, nah, it's not going to bring back his career's dead. It's been dead since Elysium. Chappie just helped kill it. Even
no, it was dead.
No, because
Phenomic came out.
No, because he had something. Because after he did District 9, he was going to do RoboCop. He was going to do Alien.
I remember he was going to do RoboCop.
And then he did Elysium, and I was like, and then they were like, okay, we'll give you one more shot. And it's funny because the year he did Chappie, which was 2015, literally 2 years later, there were his Alien movies coming to come out, but that was like Ridley Scott's like, fine, I'll do it. You lost your privileges. Then they told him you're not doing RoboCop anymore.
Just a future idea. I think it would be funny if we did a Neil Blomkamp episode. I think
that'd be a short ass episode. That's only 4 movies to talk about.
I mean, there's stuff we could go over. We can go over the disastrous Demonic and
You watched Demon. I did not watch Demon.
It's terrible.
We should do a Josh Trank episode. Talk about how freaking depressing how everything
Josh
came out.
Trank is just as bad as Neil Blomkamp, I think.
Whoa.
Like career-wise, where they both tanked. No pun intended with that.
No, because Josh Trank started off better with Chronicle. I think Chronicle.
They both had strong movies with their career, and then they went imploding.
Well, at least Neil Blomkamp had a better second movie than Josh Trank, because his second movie was Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did Capone, which I was the only one that watched that, and it was a disaster. It was just Tom Hardy shitting himself.
Yep, I was just gonna say, you remember when Tom Hardy took a nice dookie in his...
The only reason I watched that was because of Linda Cardellini. That's really it. And it was like, it was so weird because I'm like, oh, Josh Trank's making a movie about Al Capone, and like no one had heard of it. I think you heard of it when
I did.
You were like, oh, no, I think my old coach Jason, and I asked you, I was like, did you watch Capone? And you're like, yeah, and then I watched it. I was like, it's something.
Yeah, it's the movie Josh Trank nobody asked to direct.
No, he's not. He's supposed to be doing the FBI series with Tom Hardy, but we'll see where that goes. But anyway,
I love Tom Hardy, but that's the thing. Why is Tom Hardy partnering up with some projects nobody is also very pleased about? Because nobody is really pleased about Venom, and nobody is pleased about Josh Trank.
At this part,
they must be his friends at this point.
Something. I think it's more just like working with someone. We're just, you get the star power, because it'd be like, hey, Tom Hardy's in this, and maybe we can give it a watch.
Do you ever follow him on Instagram?
No, yes, I think.
With I forgot what he does. Does he do MMA stuff? Like, he should do a movie.
Yeah, he does MMA. He does MMA. He could have did Roadhouse if they didn't get Jake Gyllenhaal.
I know, but I love Jake Gyllenhaal. But maybe Tom Hardy's got to do an MMA movie to change up something, to wow audiences. Even though I love Tom Hardy.
Me too. He's you watch Bronson. If you guys never seen Bronson,
Bronson is so good.
That's the movie that got him Bane. I'll just leave it at that. But speaking of 2000, Batman, today's topic is special because I mentioned this topic months ago. So I decided, why not? Well, we decided as a collection. I threw the idea first, but we decided on it. We would go over 2008 in film, because I've considered, and many other people have considered 2008 to be a banner year for films, where a banner year is film industry can hit the high, there's the highs. 2008 helped shape a lot of what we know the movies nowadays. Some of the franchise got started in 2008, some classics came out in 2008, and then there was just a lot of good stuff in that movie. So in this episode, we're gonna go month to month. So from January 08 all the way to December 08, and we're gonna talk about some of a few movies each month and which ones we like, dislike, and everything like that. So we got a little bit ways to go, but it's just the two of us, so it should go pretty quickly.
Yeah, and if you guys want to follow along on this journey, just head on over to Wikipedia, that trusty source, and search list of American films of 2008. So as we dive into this, Mac, would you like to go over the highest grossing films of 2008?
I thought you would never ask me. So the highest grossing films of 2008. I'm going to start from number 10 and go all the way to number 1. So number 10, coming in with $419.6 million, we have The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian, which that's a throwback right there. Number 9
is a throwback.
Number 9 is Wall-E with $521.3 million. Number 8 is the first MCU film, Iron Man, coming in at $585.7 million. Number 7 coming in with $589.5 million. You got Quantum of Solace. Number 6 is Madagascar, Escape to Africa, with $603.9 million. Number 5 with $609.8 million. You have Mamma Mia. Number 4, Hancock, $629.4 million. Number 3, we got Kung Fu Panda with $631.7 million. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, coming in at $790.6 million. And shocker, number 1 is The Dark Knight with $997 million.
It's a funny world we live in.
So all of these movies I have seen at least once.
Yeah, same. I can agree to that. I've seen at least these films at least once. Yeah.
I can't believe Mamma Mia is top 5. How did that happen?
I don't like Mamma Mia.
I think it's okay.
I just don't care for it. am not. And I might have discussed this in the past before on the podcast, but I'm not a crazy Meryl Streep fan, and anybody can throw all the tomatoes they want at me and they gets in all the hate. But I'm just not a huge Meryl Streep fan, and I'm sorry. I know she's an icon, but I'm not really a fan. I just can never get into the movies that she's in.
And before we go over the January 1st, let's get into what won the awards for that year. So with Best Film, we got Slumdog Millionaire. Best Director, Danny Boyle for Slumdog Millionaire. Best Actor was, I believe, Sean Penn with Milk.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Then we had Anne Hathaway, Rachel Getting Married, and then Meryl Streep with Doubt, Best Actress.
Are you sure it's Anne Hathaway? Because I don't think she won, because she won an Oscar for Les Mis.
In 2008?
Yeah.
Les Mis didn't come out in 2008. It came out in 2012.
No, but what you said, like, who was the winner?
It's a tie. It's Rachel Getting Married with Anne Hathaway, and then Meryl Streep's number 2 with Doubt.
Interesting.
Oh wait, this is the Critics' Choice Awards. Whoops. Whoops. All right. So
best
film at the Academy was Slumdog Millionaire, and Danny Boyle won Best Director, of course. Best Actor was Sean Penn, and then Best Actress that year was Kate Winslet with The Reader. Anne Hathaway and Meryl. Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep won Best for the Critics' Choice Awards. Best Supporting Actor was Heath Ledger. Penelope Cruz was Vicky Cristina Barcelona. Simon Boyfrey won Best Screenplay Adapted for Slumdog Millionaire. Dustin Lance got Best Screenplay Original for Milk. Wally won Best Animated Film. Best Original Score, Slumdog Millionaire. Slumdog Millionaire won for Jai Ho for Slumdog Millionaire, of course. And the Best Foreign Film is Departures.
2008, man.
Yeah. But let's get into January. Kristen, go over some of the notable movies that we got in January.
All right, here are some of the notable movies that we got. The Killing of John Lennon. One Missed Call, a remake starring Megan Good and Margaret Cho and Ariel Winter. A Bloody Area. I don't know what that is.
Okay, let's go over the films that people may actually know, and that's like one by one.
First Sunday, which was an Ice Cube movie.
I have that on DVD.
You do?
Yeah, it's downstairs.
Do you like it?
It's a guilty pleasure movie because there's times where I think Tracy Morgan's funny, and I think back then
he is so funny. Do you ever watch his comedy specials? They're so funny.
I haven't, but I watched his show on TBS, OG. That was pretty funny.
I just don't want to know your name. I want you to whisper it in my ear.
Mordecai.
You ready to borrow some money?
Playing with my emotions.
We also have In the Name of the King, The Pirates Who Do Anything, a VeggieTales movie. I have that VeggieTales girl, but if you liked it,
I have that recorded on a DVD. That's my favorite. It's my favorite VeggieTales movie.
Really?
Yes.
Out of all of them that were released?
Yeah.
Oh, here's my guilty pleasure: 27 Dresses.
Oh my gosh.
Cassandra's Dream. Here's one. Matt Reeves movie, but Cloverfield.
Yeah, written by Drew Goddard, who later went on to make Daredevil. Like,
yes.
We'll get back to Cloverfield, but what are the other notable movies?
Here's a major throwback. Mad Money with Diane Keaton, Queen Latifah, and Katie Holmes and Ted Danson.
Oh my gosh.
Remember that thing, y'all? A movie called Teeth. How She Move. Meet the Spartans.
Oh my god.
That was a thing. The Disney Channel original movie starring the one and only Nicholas Braun, Minutemen. The Rambo remake with Sylvester Stallone as the director, and Untraceable for the month of January.
We were really eating in
well, we always start off January with a big bucket of chum.
So the best movie out of this list would probably have to be Cloverfield, which definitely. I remember. Do you remember the marketing for Cloverfield?
I was so young because when I was in 2008, I was in like 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
6th grade. And then I just remember seeing it and I was just like, this is not a movie for me. I can't.
Well, when you saw Transformers back in 2007, there was a trailer. It was for Cloverfield, but at the time, no one knew what it was.
I didn't see Transformers in theaters, so I didn't see it. Did you?
No, I'm telling you what happened. I didn't see Transformers in theaters. This is what I was told when I was a kid, and I asked people if they remember Cloverfield. But if you saw Transformers back in 2007, it was a trailer. It was a trailer for Cloverfield, but it had no title. It was just produced by J.J. Abrams, and it had the release date, and everyone was speculating like what was going to be, and it was like viral marketing, like websites popped up and everything like that. And Cloverfield is a fine movie. If you like found footage, yeah. If you don't like shaky cameras, then this is probably not the movie for you, because my God, you will get queasy real quick. But I think out of all of the January movies, that's probably the best one financially and critically.
Mm-hmm.
And then it made 2 sequels, varying degrees of quality.
That's fact. But knowing the fact that 27 Dresses is a guilty pleasure released out of everything in January, that's saying a lot. And then knowing that on this list, Disney Channel original movie Minutemen is listed, that's everything.
Stephanie had 2 guys in her life.
Got my 2 best guys right here.
I'm your favorite, though, right?
One of them won her over.
Sometimes I wonder if I chose the right path.
But the other never lost hope.
You're an amazing friend.
Now, through an amazing invention,
Who wants to be the world's first time traveler?
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. How do you do it?
she will discover
It's terrible that Stephanie fell off the top of the pyramid.
We can change that. You have to go back.
that making the right choice
You're amazing.
is just a matter of time.
Dude, don't tell me you're gonna try to steal my girl. If I really could go back in time, I would tell Stephanie how I really feel about it.
The time is right for the Disney Channel original movie, Minutemen. Tomorrow at 8/7 Central on Disney Channel.
Because I love Minutemen. I thought that was the Back to the Future of my generation of Disney Channel movies.
We were just talking about like OG Disney Channel movies, and like I brought up Minutemen, and I completely forget about that one.
Yeah, well, 2008 Minutemen, Nicholas Braun, never forget. But yeah, one other thing before we move on to February. Are you a fan of those comedy movies where they're the spoofs?
That
like
era,
Meet the Spartans.
The only funny one was, what was it? Probably Scary Movie is the best one out of all of those, because they
definitely
they got dumber and dumber, because there was that. It was Epic Movie, Date Movie, Meet the Spartans, Disaster
Vampires
movie.
Suck.
Vampires, and then Movie 40. No, not for Movie 40. Like Scary Movie 5 was like the last of the original spoof movies.
And there was the one I did see. There was 2 of them I saw in theaters. I saw the superhero movies starring the now disgraced.
Oh yeah, Drake El Grande.
Yes, the disgraced Drake Bell. Now, and I saw Vampires Suck, and I literally it was literally my sister and I, and there was some other, like, it was like a couple that was with us, and we were walking in a theater, and the guy just looks at us and he goes, "That sucked." Kid you not. I kid you not. And I mean, my sister and I were like, well, that was a movie.
Well, think about it. When it came out, Twilight was already like on the decline, if you think about it.
Well, no, it was like 2008 was the year of Twilight. So, because that's when the first one came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't even reach the surface yet.
Damn, but yeah, no. Meet the Spartans was kind of funny, because some of the clips I like to go back and watch. And Meet the Spartans, one of the funniest moments was, I don't know if there was this guy who was on American Idol, he used to do with the mohawk. He's like, oh, yeah, and then he kicked him. He's like, I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I was just like, well, I don't know.
What?
I don't know. It's you have to watch the scene. And then I remember the thing with the spoof movies. I forgot who said it. I think it was Mel Brooks said, like, the best spoof movie is the movie where you don't need to know what they're spoofing. And that's what happened with a lot of the Freiberg and Seltzer spoof movies, is that there's so many references to stuff that's going to be like outdated. So like in Meet the Spartans, they had American Idol, they had Britney
It's
Spears.
very outdated when I look at it now.
They had Britney Spears, they had like freaking Ugly Betty. I'm like, dude, half the stuff you're not gonna even like know. It's 2023. You're like, what is that?
No, you'll forget about it in like less than like 6 months.
Yeah, like there's nothing on its own to stand up, and I think that's what happens in a lot of the movies, because even superhero movie with Drake Al Grande doesn't do well with that.
No. Alrighties. Should we move on to February?
Yes, we should. So, notable movies to come out in February. We have Hannah Montana and the Miley Cyrus Best of Both Worlds concert. Okay. We also have In Brogues with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson.
You forgot the Eye with Jessica Alba.
Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins with Martin Lawrence. We also have Jumper with, I believe, Hayden Christensen, yes, and everything like that. With Spiderwick Chronicles, of course, coming out with Seth Rogen and Nick Nolte. We got Step Up 2, The Streets, Diary of the Dead, Be Kind, Rewind, U2 3D, Charlie Barlett, Vantage Point, Witness Protection, Chicago 10, City Man, The Other Brooklyn Girl, Penelope, and Semi-Pro.
I need to acknowledge Over Her Dead Body with Paul Rudd.
I've never heard of that movie.
You never heard of that movie? It's got Eva Longoria in it?
No.
And shout out to like Belle, because she is in that movie. And I got to interview her about a year ago. Anyways, favorite movie or best movie from released.
How to hide out in Bruges.
Where's that?
It's in Belgium. Blend in with the tourists.
Been to the top of the tower?
Well, you lot ain't going up there.
What exactly are you trying to say?
They're a bunch of elephants.
Conceal your identity.
Mr. Blakely?
Yes. No, Mr. Cranham. No. Yes, Mr. Blakely. Yes.
And stick to your getaway plan.
I'm gonna go back to my room, see if I can escape.
Okay, on a count of 1, 2, 3, go.
Who says it?
Oh, you say it.
1, 2, 3, go!
In Bruges.
What is your name?
Derek, Pearl, Laurel.
Rated R.
Yeah, that's fact.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was looking at this list, there's a lot of movies here. I enjoy Penelope. I think that movie is really cute.
I've never heard of that movie at all.
It's so cute. It's got a girl with like, she's got a pig nose and she covers herself with a scarf. And she's looking for love, and James McAvoy, just comes in and he just like falls in love with her. It's very, very cute. It's a very like 2000s rom-com, but it's so cute. And knowing Christine Ritchie's in it, she's just this bubbly little girl, and I just enjoyed it.
Also, shout out to Semi-Pro. I didn't realize they came out in February. Semi-Pro is like very funny. That's like Will Ferrell in his prime.
What do you think of Will Ferrell in the early 2000s?
Untouchable.
That was like really, because like him and Adam Sandler were like prime.
Because like they're unstoppable, yeah, like untouchable. Like if there was a Will Ferrell, I'm like, dude, he had Kicking and Screaming, he had Talladega Nights, then he had Step Brothers, and then he had other guy. He had like a lot of stuff in the 2000s, and it just worked.
Yes.
Even like the stuff he wasn't the star in, like Wedding Crashers. I love his cameo. He's like, "Hey, Mom, we want the meatloaf now."
You know what? I will have some meatloaf. Let's have some meatloaf. You want some? Yes. I knew you'd go. Hey, Mom, the meatloaf. We want it now.
He's really good when it comes to cameos.
Yeah.
I also want to acknowledge that, you mentioned the Spider Chronicles.
Spider Chronicles, yes.
Did you hear about the latest news about the Spider Chronicles?
It's coming back.
Not anymore, not to Disney. It's not.
Oh.
They dropped it. And it's being shopped for other networks.
That's crazy. Like 2008 was kind of the last time we saw like the Chronicles of Narnia, which we'll get to in the Spiderwick Chronicles. Like the 2000s, those were the two movies everyone wanted to watch.
I think that was it for like our age group, but not for a higher demographic audience. Because when I was during this time, I remember seeing a lot of advertisements because I really wanted to see Fool's Gold, but I didn't. Nobody wanted to take me because I was so young. But then out of this time in this month, I still have my ticket to the Ryan Reynolds movie, Definitely Maybe.
Oh, and that's when he was still in the era of like waiting.
Of like and starring in all those rom-coms and stuff. Yeah. So I still have my ticket. I remember going to the movie to see it, and the theater was like packed.
Oh my gosh.
And it was released, to be fair, on Valentine's Day. So I remember going to see that. Out of all the movies that were released during this time of that year, that's what I remember going to see. And I also wanted to see the Hannah Montana movie because, you know,
Of course you did.
Yeah, you know that. And also because the Jonas Brothers were in it. And just didn't get to. I don't think my parents wanted to go see it. So we had to wait for it to come out on TV.
Also, special mention The Diary of a Dead. Because that was like George A. Romero's first zombie movie since Land of the Dead. And that was like, it was trying to be like the whole emerging media because it was in found footage.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fine. It's an okay movie. I don't like the characters, so the characters are assholes.
I'm trying to think of what else is in here.
Step Up to the Streets.
Step Up to the Streets. It's not as the only good Step Up movie out of all those movies is the first one. We didn't need all of them.
Fun fact, Step Up 2 was directed by John M. Chu. If you don't know who he is, he did G.I. Joe Retaliation, Step Up 3D, Gem and the Holograms, Now You See Me Too, Crazy Rich Asians, In the Heights, Wicked Part 1.
This man has had an interesting career.
And he's doing Wicked Part 1 and 2, and he's doing all the places you'll go.
Yep. This is John M. Chu has had an interesting career, I must say, but he's directing Ariana Grande, and I must clarify, I said something in one of the podcast episodes that I don't remember if I said Wicked was done filming, but I think they only had 8 days left, of filming, or 10 days. So I must apologize for misinformation. I didn't realize that. I was not aware of that. I thought they were done filming from sources that I was given, but I was wrong. So I'm coming on here now to say, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. Move on to March.
I need to apologize. All right. Moving on to March. We have 10,000 BC, directed by Roland Emmerich. Yikes. The Bank Job.
Yeah, stop it.
This is a movie we're going to have to talk about. College Road Trip.
The Disney Channel movie.
Not even Disney Channel. It's Walt Disney Pictures. The
one
that
Walt
was
Disney.
released in theaters.
That was Married Life.
Married Life. Miss Pettawig Lives for a Day. Paranoid Park. Snow Angels. Doomsday. Dr. Seuss's Horton Hears a Who.
Yeah.
Funny Games, the Michael Haneke American version.
Good movie.
Never Back Down. Sleepwalking. Drillbert Taylor.
Taylor.
I think it was Stephen Brill's last movie.
I think so, yeah.
I thought it was. So we also have The Grand. Meet the Browns. Shutter. Under the Same Moon. 21. Chapter 27. Flawless. Run, Fat Boy, Run. And here's the other movie that I was talking about and mentioned. Superhero movie.
Actually, and Stephen Brill's last movie was Hubie Halloween.
Was it?
Yep, he's still alive. He's still directing. He's Hubie Halloween.
I didn't know this, but Seth Rogen was one of the screenwriters of it. I think that I was thinking somebody might have produced it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what I was looking at, but I thought somebody was attached, like John Hughes. I don't know why. I'm so sorry, y'all. John Hughes has no attachment to it.
Let's talk about probably the most random. Okay, so I have two favorite movies from this month. It's Dr. Seuss's Horton Hears a Who and Funny Games. So I think I've said this multiple times. I think
How old were you when you saw Funny Games? First of all,
I saw it when I was 13.
Okay.
No, I thought it was a great movie. I didn't even know it was big. I watched the original one and I like that one, and I like this one because I think Naomi Watts does a good job of the role. I think everyone does a good job in this movie. I like direction and the sense of my favorite thing is just always they break the fourth wall. It's we're taking bets so you guys won't live to the morning. He's like, well, what do you think? Whose side are you on? Are you on their side? It just worked for me. I don't know why. It was a better version of The Strangers, which we'll get to. And then Horton Hears a Who, because I've said on record that I think the animated Horton Hears a Who movie is the best Dr. Seuss adaptation of the 2000s. It's better than Cat in the Hat.
Really?
Yep, it's better than Grinch because I don't think the Grinch is all that. The Lorax.
I agree.
The Lorax is fine because Danny DeVito carries that movie, but I hate the message of it. But because this is the first Dr. Seuss adaptation movie they did, because his widow said, "You're not doing any more live action after Cat in the Hat."
After what happened in Cat in the Hat, I mean,
oh yeah.
Would you want anybody touching your works like that? No.
Well, yeah, those are my two favorite
and
movies.
I'm going to agree with that. I enjoy the musical style of it and the colorfulness and the Jim Carrey and Steve Carell and everybody that's in that. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. And my younger self really liked it. I remember going to see College Road Trip in theaters and loving it. And I remember I loved it so much that I remember begging my mom to pick it up on DVD.
They played that so much on Disney Channel. That's how I remember it. They're like, it's the Martin Lawrence Marathon. Because that's what Raven was still on. So
yeah, that's what Raven was still on. And I thought Raven was really good. I think this is kind of like a slight gem, even though it's fine for children and stuff, but it's not great overall. I haven't seen it in years. I kind of want to revisit it.
It's on Disney Plus. Go there to watch.
I know. But I remember going to see that in theaters and really enjoying it. Michael Haneke was a director I did not know until college. And I didn't see his work. And I saw the Fun and Games remake and I was like, okay, out of everything I've seen, I think the Fun and Games is the safest movie he has done. Yeah. And at least that's the only movie I can handle. I cannot handle his other movies. I think they are disgusting. But yeah. But also going back to Stephen Brill, I want to apologize, Stephen Brill. I don't know why I thought about that, because going back to it, we did review Hubie Halloween, if you remember.
Yep, like to forget.
Oh yeah, we did forget. I mean, given the conversation we just had now. But yeah, that is everything. I also remember seeing advertisements for 21 because I only thought
that's the most random 2008 movie. Because I'd be like,
it is.
I talked to people like, hey, remember that movie 21 with Kevin Spacey? Like, oh my god, I watched it. Like, why
yes, with Kevin Spacey. I remember seeing that, and I'm just like, oh man, I thought Jim Sturgis was. I literally thought Jim Sturgis was Ashton Kutcher when I saw all the advertisements for that. And I'm like, this man is Ashton Kutcher. Oh, wait, no, it's not.
They messed up too. They should have released it on the 21st, but they released it on the 28th.
How much is this thing going to run me?
The belt's $49.95. Jacket's $500. $306. Shoes were just marked down, so $1,042.68. I'm pretty good with numbers.
On March 28th.
Welcome to Vegas.
What if we get caught? Counting cards isn't illegal.
+9.
+5.
Dude, I lost count 20 cards ago.
Don't call me dude.
He'll change his identity and create a system.
Folded arms, the table's hot.
21! But will he take it too far?
Think you could beat the system?
What happened to $300,000 I'm out?
Based on the bestseller, Bringing Down the House.
The stakes are high and it's more dangerous.
21. Rated PG-13.
Yeah.
But no,
there's lots of 20s going on here. It's released on 28th. They got 21 and chapter 27.
It was an okay movie. I liked the whole card counting thing. And wasn't it based a true story?
I don't know.
Let me see. And also shout out to Drobit Taylor. That's actually a really funny movie. That's one of Owen Wilson's better movies. Oh yeah, it's inspired. The 21 is inspired by the story of the MIT blackjack team, and told in Bringing Down the House, the best-selling 2003 book by Ben Mezrich. So yeah, Kevin Spacey was in it, Lawrence Fishburne, and Lizzie.
Do you know why I was talking about Drobit Taylor and John Hughes? There is a connection.
Was that one of the last ones?
He was part of the story. He was I guess he was one of the writers or was part of the story, because it says on Wikipedia here, it says credit as Edmond Dantes. That's why, because I was saying to myself, I was trying to think back, how is John Hughes connected to this? So that's how John Hughes is connected to Drobit Taylor. Okay.
Fun fact.
Sorry.
The character of Drobit was also featured as a superstar on the Raw page of WWE.com for a period of time.
Did Owen Wilson really show up and fight?
No, it was just on WWE.com.
I mean, I would have loved that. I would have watched that.
It's just funny. Drobit Taylor is a really funny movie. Probably it's really underrated. Actually,
I remember seeing it advertised on Nickelodeon.
Also, superhero movie. That was a movie.
Yeah, that was a movie. I did go see that in theaters. I remember I know my dad and I went to go see it. And I was dying because I was like, Dad, there's Drake Bell from Drake and Josh. And he was like, okay, I guess it's safe. And he's like, don't tell your mother what you saw. And I was like, okay.
But let's move on to
April. Oh, wait, I want to watch one thing. Acknowledge one thing. Run Fat Boy Run. That was a movie directed by David Schwimmer. Okay. And had a screenplay by Michael Ian Black and Simon Pegg. I am
Was that even a good movie?
Blown. I didn't even watch it.
I've never.
It's like one of the only David Schwimmer movies I've seen that he directed was the movie he did about catfishing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's the only like David Schwimmer movie like I've seen that he like directed.
All right, so in April, this is April. We got Leatherheads, the George Clooney movie, which is actually not a bad movie in my opinion. I liked it. I'm a sports movie, so I'm a sports fan, so I did really enjoy it. We got. I'm just going to do the notable ones real quick because there's a lot of. We got Meet Bill, Mr. Blueberry Nights, Nim's Island, The Ruins, Never Forever, the 2008 remake of Prom Night, Smart People, Street Kings, 88 Minutes, Animorph, Expelled, The Forbidden Kingdom, Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh yeah.
The Life Before Her Eyes, Where in the World is Osama bin Laden, Baby Mama, Deal, Deception, Harold and Kumar, Escape from Guantanamo Bay, Rogue, Son of Rambo, and Mr. Lonely.
Harmony Korine, oh god.
So I said Leatherheads, but can I give a special like screw you to Prom Night, like one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen in my life?
Idris Elba.
One of the worst, Prom Night's probably one of the worst remakes I've ever seen. And this was like
it's pretty bad.
This is during the era of like when they were trying to reboot everything from the 80s. Because around this time we had the Friday 13th one, which actually wasn't that bad. Bloody Valentine, the Texas Chainsaw ones, the Jessica Biel one wasn't that bad. And we had another Jeepers Creepers came out, and then we had the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. And I think if I'm not, was this by Platinum Dune? No, okay, it was the original film, but yeah. This one is the reboot of the 8. But yeah, also fun fact: do you realize that in the Friday 13th and Bloody Valentine, my Bloody Valentine movies, that we had both Supernatural brothers in both movies?
Really?
Yeah, Jared was in the Friday 13th one, while
that's right.
Jensen
that's
was
right.
in my,
oh my god, I forgot about that.
Jensen was the killer in My Bloody Valentine.
I forgot about that. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Oh dang, I saw that on Netflix actually because I wanted to see it when it was released, and I was like, wow, what is this? Because I remember like Danielle Panabaker was in the remake one.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Nelson McCormick, who was the director of Prom Night. He would later go on to do the 2009 remake of Stepfather.
Oh, I actually don't mind that one. I prefer to watch The Stepfather over Prom Night.
Oh yeah, definitely. But what about you? What are some of your standouts from this one?
This month is it's not as. All right. Well, no, I'm not gonna take. I'll take that back. Forgetting Sarah Marshall is probably the best one on this list for me. And also shout out to Baby Mama. Baby Mama is just really funny and just so stupid with the perfect comedy of Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. I just love the birthing class scene.
Oh, is that the movie where Tina Fey was the older woman? She had to get Amy Poehler to be her surrogate?
Amy Poehler is like pregnant, but she's not really pregnant, so she has like a fake baby.
Yeah.
So she get the money from Tina Fey. It's so funny.
When Kate couldn't get pregnant,
I just don't like your uterus.
She hired someone who could.
I want you to put your baby inside me.
Get ready.
Did you just stick your gum under my coffee table?
I don't know.
For 9 months of hard labor.
A surrogate is your partner.
Like Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry hate each other.
They love each other. What show are you watching?
Baby Mama.
I'm sorry I yelled at you.
I'm sorry I farted into your purse.
What?
Rated PG-13.
Oh god, Greg Kinnear, and it was funny. And then Dax Shepard is also just really good in it too. He just plays the dumb father who's supposed to be like Amy Poehler's like, boyfriend and the baby father and stuff. It's so stupidly funny. Let's see. We got 88 Minutes on here, which is Al Pacino's movie. I didn't see that. Nim's Island, I remember seeing that like advertised on Nickelodeon as well, and with like Gerard Butler. And Gerard Butler at the time was like in that realm of like P.S. I Love You, and that was like all like
Well, he was a year after 300 too. Mm-hmm. 7 was 300, so he's still not.
Yeah, so like he was like a recognizable face now, and I was like, oh, I want to see Gerard Butler. I like him.
I feel like he still is. He's had a big resurgence.
You do like him.
He's not bad. I liked a lot of his newer stuff. Like since because in this era he had 300, the PS I Love You. Then he did Gamer, which isn't that bad of a movie. Then he did Law Abiding Citizen. That really like blew him up.
Yeah.
And then he had Olympus Has Fallen and everything.
I also really love him in like How to Train Your Dragon too.
Yeah.
Like those movies. I think he's really great in those. Oh, and George Clooney. He may not be the best director, but yeah, Leatherheads. Yeah.
I like it because I'm a big football fan, and I always love reading about how football got started. And it's just interesting to see how far it's come from like just mud and leather helmets to helmets. And it's kind of based on like a lot of the it is kind of semi based on a true story.
Mm-hmm. But shout out to Sharon Marshall. But I also want to acknowledge I love the scene with Jason Segel with the psychiatrist song. Do you remember? I don't handle psychiatrist.
I do remember forgetting Sharon Marshall. That was not my.
It's really funny. Oh god, the cast is so good with Jason Segel, Kristen Bell, Mila Kunis, Russell Brand, Bill Hader, Jack McBrayer, Paul Rudd, Jason Bateman. Oh, it's so good. All right. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a great, great comedy. And it started the career of Nicholas, has a great career from Nicholas Stroller, too, who's done like Bros and the Neighborhood movies. And what is it? Yeah, Neighbors, not Neighborhood movies. Storks, Captain Underpants. Like he was a producer of that. Or no, one of the writers of that, excuse me. Night School. DC Superhero Pets. He was an executive producer of that, and he's got some other movies that are coming up. So just want to acknowledge that. Mac, kicking us off, or am I continuing on?
You're continuing on. I did.
All right.
We're in May.
Well, now we're starting off with one of your favorites, Mac.
Yes.
In May, the first weekend in May was released Iron Man, Maid of Honor, Red Belt, Then She Found Me, Speed Racer, one of your favorites.
On May 9th, the creators of the Matrix trilogy will take you on the ride of your life.
He's going to be good.
No. He's going to be the best. Speed Racer is being called high-octane entertainment. Woo! Visually stunning. Spectacular. It will blow your mind.
Get out of there! I can't move! Speed!
You've never seen anything like it. Speed Racer. Rated PG. In theaters and IMAX May 9th.
The Tracy Fragments. One hand. What Happens in Vegas. Oh, I remember going to see this movie and loved it.
I have vivid memories of that one.
The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian, How the Garcia Girls Spent Their Summer. I never heard of that. The Flock, Indiana Jones, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, War Inc., Sex and the City, and the movie you talked about earlier, but The Strangers.
Yeah. So Iron Man. That was the big movie of the month.
Critics and audiences have been blown away by the best reviewed movie of the year. And Rolling Stone calls it spectacular. Iron Man. Rated PG-13.
Dude, Iron Man, to this day, I still feel like it's the best MCU movie. Because what I like about it the most, I was telling my friend today, is that it's not setting up anything. It's just a movie. You're just following Tony Stark. And I think because we didn't know this was set up anything until the end when he's like, let me tell you about the Avengers. And that's like, that made the movie better because it was just, you're just a character study. And Tony and Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark is still one of the best casting decisions ever made.
I think the first Iron Man is the best one out of all the Iron Man movies that were released.
Well,
and it really does.
Its competition is 2 and 3.
And it's like the opening gates of what is Marvel Studios. And like, you're saying, hey, this is what we can do. And it's like,
well, they put the story of how they made this movie, right?
Why don't you tell the audience?
So, at this time in 2008, Marvel was really trying to get into their shared universe started. So what they did is that the capital the budget they got, they put the capital of Marvel because in the 90s, Marvel had sold its assets to different companies. So that's why everyone else. So they spent years trying to get everything together. So they pretty much told Jon Favreau, who was the director, who was coming off of Zathura, which I think is a fine movie. People hate on it too much. They pretty much told him like, hey, if this movie flops, Marvel Comics is done. We're going bankrupt. So good luck. So if Iron Man,
not much pressure.
Yeah. So if Iron Man tanked, then the MCU would not happen, and all the characters will be in different studios.
I mean, right now they got just about all the power except for.
Yeah. Back then, like if they tried what they do now, back then they would have failed because Iron Man was a character at this time like no one really knew about unless you're like a diehard comic fan. But 15 years later, Iron Man's a popular character. RDJ, this is his first his comeback movie because he started off with like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and then he did
another. He's really good.
Then he did another movie in the summer of this year, which we'll get to. But this was like his first movie. Like, oh my gosh, he's back and everything. It's just a fun, just getting to know Tony Stark, and then just setting up everything what we know of the MCU, and it was just awesome. It was a great summer movie, definitely just really really fun.
I think that's just one of the better movies, and this was also the weekend that Maid of Honor was released with one of my favorite crushes at the time, Patrick Dempsey and Michelle Monaghan. And we also had during this time, I remember seeing a lot of placements for Speed Racer.
Yeah, the best anime adaptation movie ever.
You really enjoy
Speed Racer.
You have such a huge soft spot and affirmation for
it. Is so fun. Racer. It's like, did you ever watch Speed Racer?
I think I have. It's never got really a fan of it. Maybe I just need to rewatch it.
They used to play the old cartoon on Nicktoons, and like people are like, it's too wacky because the Wachowskis did this movie. So like everyone's like, wait, you guys did the Matrix and you're doing this now? But it was so good because it just worked, because Speed Racer is very like, it's wacky and it's fun. And that's what they brought the energy. Like, this is probably the best perfect adaptation to an anime. And the fact that the racing sequences is pretty cool. And the soundtrack's good. I love Go Speed Racer, Go Speed Racer, go.
Who sings the Speed Racer theme song for this one?
Let me take a look real quick.
Look at the soundtrack for this one.
The soundtrack, where is it? Soundtrack. They've been teasing a sequel for years too. I wouldn't mind that actually. Oh, media. I can't find the
Michael Giacchino did
Yes, the Batman composer did this. Let's go. But if I can find the freaking song, if I can look for the Go Speed Racer. Forgot who sung it.
Go Speed Racer was released as a single same day as the film soundtrack. Performed by
Ali D and Jason Gleed, and performed by Al D and Deke.
That's a name. I never heard of them, but
it's so that theme song is so it's just like it gets you so hyped and everything. But yeah, Speed Racer is so fun, and originally they're gonna make this with apparently Johnny Depp was gonna be Speed Racer, and
really?
Vince Vaughn was gonna be Racer X's brother, who's like the mysterious
Vince
racer.
Vaughn.
This is like because they've had this movie. They had that movie in development since like the late 90s.
Oh, maybe I would have watched it then. But
yeah. Also, shout out to What Happens in Vegas, because that movie
I love What Happens in Vegas.
It's such a guilty, like dumb, fun.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so stupid and obnoxious. I think it's one of the better Cameron Diaz movies that was released during that time. It's no what is it? It's no the Mary movie. There's something about Mary.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that. But it's a safe comedy with Ashton Kutcher and Cameron Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
And Lake Bell and Rob Corddry are in it. And I just love the fact that they, the scene where they punch the guy in the groin area and they go, "You know what you did." Like they do that to Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Oh god, that movie is just so funny. Oh my god.
That's funny.
The Chronicles of Narnia too.
Yeah, were you a Narnia kid? Because I really wasn't.
Last weekend, audiences everywhere made Prince Caspian the #1 movie in America. It's magical, fun, and even better than the first. Walt Disney Pictures and Walden Media's Narnia, rated PG, now playing.
I liked the first one. I never really got into the other ones after that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, and I just couldn't.
I can't believe it's been almost 13 years we haven't had a movie. That was like a big franchise back in the 2000s because the first one, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, came out 2005.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened. Maybe they said it just wasn't profitable.
Yeah. Now we're getting like remakes of them on Netflix with them being directed by Greta Gerwig.
I mean, maybe she'll do a good job,
I'm
Also,
hoping.
big shout out to Indiana Jones and the Crystal Kingdom Skull.
Good God, I was just gonna get to that.
Which 15 years later, it looks better than Dial of Destiny. It's much better.
Oh.
And that's saying a lot.
That is saying a lot.
Because listen, I think Crystal Cool. I
did not like it. I just remember going in to see it like, okay, this is my first Indiana Jones movie in theaters, and I was just like, I was like the part where like we're not really spoiling anything because these are like
15 years old.
When Kate Blanchett's like face like almost like melts off, I was like, what in the world?
Like
watching.
I think this movie gets too much hate, and I think it's mostly because of Shia LaBeouf being his son. Even though I don't think that's the problem with it, it's a little dumb, but
that's the problem. I don't think it's
I think it's just the script, and then just like the ending reveal it being aliens. I thought that was dumb.
Yeah, it's not as impactful as the other films have been.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It just feels like once aliens are involved, and knowing the new one, which you told me about. And what AJ told me about, shout out to AJ Reacts. I was like, all right, this is Indiana Jones thing.
This is the one where he survived a nuclear explosion in the fridge.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Everyone's like, wait, what?
I forgot about that. And then, oh god, and then
how about Sex in the City?
Yes, Sex in the City. I did you know I'm not really a Sex in the City kind of gal. I could never get into it.
During COVID, I watched the older one on HBO Max.
I could never really get into it. I don't know why. I don't know. I think it was like during that time, it was like I was so young.
Mm-hmm.
But even now as an adult, I just never had an interest to go back to it. I don't know why. And I guess now maybe the reboot, that's why it's like they're trying to like get that nostalgia feel still, even though I'm just like, I don't really care.
Also, the last one we'll talk about is The Strangers. I think The Strangers is very overrated.
I think it's fine. I think it's good. But
people are like, oh my gosh, it's so scary. You watch it alone at night, like by yourself, and you think people are like, it's not. It's okay, and like, it's. I don't like Liv Tyler because she needs inflection in her voice, but like
she's a very monotone.
Yeah, like The Strangers was so boring, and there's so many dumb decisions that I hated, and like the sequel was even worse, but it was funny.
Oh, that sequel! Oh my god, that sequel! Stinky. Don't support.
But should we move on to June?
Yes, let's go into June.
All right, so notable releases in June. We get And When Did You Last See Your Father? Kung Fu Panda, The Promotion, You Don't Mess with the Zohan, The Happening, The Incredible Hulk, Brick Lane, Get Smart, Kit Kittredge, An American Girl, The Love Guru, Finding Amanda, Wall-E, and Wanted.
All right, so now we're breaking into summer movie season with these movies.
Yes.
Kung Fu Panda.
Entertainment Weekly says the word of the summer is skadoosh.
What?
Yes, skadoosh. Excellent. DreamWorks Kung Fu Panda. Rated PG. Now play.
Love it.
Love it.
I think that's one of the few DreamWorks series that actually, that and How to Train Your Dragon, they've not had one bad movie. Because you can even say that you can even say Kung Fu Panda 2 was better than the first one.
I really like the first one, and I think we should revisit them at some point.
Oh yeah, when the new one comes out, we'll do that. But no, Kung Fu Panda is such a great movie. I love the soundtrack. I like the animation and Jack Black.
It's very fun.
Yeah, Jack. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was gonna go off of what you were saying with Jack Black.
Oh yeah, he was so fun as Poe.
I think he had just as much fun as recording for Poe as he did as Bowser. For the Super Mario Brothers movie.
This was his practice for Bowser.
Yeah, Kung Fu Panda walked so Bowser could run.
Hell yeah.
Don't mess with the Zohan. That was.
I don't like that movie.
Neither do I.
It's such a like weird movie.
This is like one of the weird characters that Adam Sandler like did, and I could never get into it. I just didn't think it was funny. It was like stereotyping somebody that I just didn't think was really funny.
You don't mess with the Zohan.
And he has that like a blow dryer thing. I didn't, maybe I just was too young at the time and I didn't get the spiel, but like when I saw it when I was older, I just thought this is just really stupid.
I still don't get it.
I don't get it, but I want to acknowledge one of the craziest movies during this time.
Incredible Hulk. I mean, The Happening.
Yeah,
The Happening is the best M. Night Shyamalan movie. I quote this like, "Come on, guys, take an interest in science." Or it's like, we can't just stand here as uninvolved observers. We're not going to be one of those assholes on the news who don't see a crime and not do something. We're not assholes. Or you're gonna kill me and rob me in my sleep. He's like, what?
No, ma'am, no.
Or you like hot dogs? Hot dogs is bad rap. We should do a Happening episode. That movie is
no, the hot dog guy. Remember the hot dog?
He's like,
you like hot dogs,
right? They get a bad rap. Also, the part like the suicide parts in that movie, because like for people who don't know, if you've never seen The Happening was like M. Night's follow up to what was it? What did he do before? Was it Lady in the Water, or was it the Village? I think it was Lady in the Water. He did.
No,
before.
I think it was The Village.
Okay, so he did no, because Lady in the Water came out in 2005. So this was his follow up to that one. Yeah, because after this he did Avatar.
Oh man!
But The Happening was M. Night's like attempt to go back to horror. So pretty much in this movie. Oh
yeah, you're right. I thought Lady in the Water came after that.
So this was
the last animated.
This was M. Night's attempt of doing horror. While in the movie, the plants would release toxin that makes people want to kill themselves in those wacky ways possible.
Do crazy things.
Yeah, like there's a scene in the opening where they're in New York and they're just falling off the building. It's like someone's like, "It's raining men, hallelujah."
All right, I gotta say something. Okay, this is going off of like what The Happening is. This is on the Wikipedia page. I'm gonna read this to y'all. But on June 7, 2008, days before the first few reviews of the film came online, Shyamalan told the New York Daily News, "We're making an excellent B movie. That's our goal." You weren't.
He's such a full of shit. Because like when they asked him before, you remember?
You weren't.
Remember when they asked him before, and he was like, "Yeah, it's like a psychological horror movie. Like people came out the theater, they were shaking and disturbed and everything." And then like before the movie came out, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a B movie." And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's a B movie on purpose." I'm like, "No, it's not.
No,
it is not." That's
how serious M. Night Shyamalan tries to take himself.
Yeah. Like that
that man tries to take himself so serious.
That was not a B movie. That was legit him making a horror movie and him realizing, okay, that's probably not good. So he's like, it's a B movie. And now it's being like, it's the best B movie. I'm like, no, it's a serious movie. There's moments in that movie where it's legit, like the concept's B movie-ish. But the movie itself,
a very B movie, but he's trying to take himself so seriously, and the whole concept is trying to take itself seriously. I think he didn't want to believe it as a joke after, and then it's like, it's a butt of the joke film.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not good. It's not great. The acting is really, really terrible. Even Mark Wahlberg tries to save himself in this movie, and he can't. And freaking Joey Deschanel.
She was terribly miscasted.
Oh yeah. Do you know what? There was something that was just on that Wikipedia page, and it was like saying like Amy Adams was considered for the role. I was like, girl would never step foot.
No, she would never do that. No, God, no. I was surprised she didn't get Bryce Dallas Howard.
Like I said, do you know how iconic Amy Adams is, honey?
I'm surprised he didn't get Bryce Dallas Howard because he helped her get her thing started with The Village and Lady in the Water.
Okay, here. This is going off the same Wikipedia page that I was reading from earlier. So it says, Wahlberg offered his own opinion on The Happening in 2010, saying that Amy Adams, who was consideration for the role of Alma Moore, had dodged the bullet by not starring in that film. He said it was a really bad movie. F it. It is what it is. You can't blame me for not wanting to try to play a science teacher. At least I wasn't playing a cop or a crook.
Literally, Chris Stuckman read that quote word for word on his Hilariosity review like 8 years ago. I was like, damn. Even Mark Wahlberg was like, I'm still sick of this shit.
And then guess what?
What?
And then going in that same article, and even years after that Chris Munkman thing, in 2019, Shyamalan said he took some responsibility for the way the movie turned out. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I think it's a consistent to kind of facade humor, you know, like The Blob, The Campy, the 1958 debut of Stephen McQueen, featuring a mysterious growing obema that it takes over a small town in Pennsylvania. The key to the Blob is that it just never takes itself seriously. I think it's inconsistent. That's why I couldn't see it.
All right, Mr. Gaslighting. But let's move on to the.
No, when Zoe J. Chanel even defended the movie, girl, why would you defend that movie?
It gave her a career. That's why she did New Girl.
Oh.
But let's move on to the Incredible Hulk, which was the same day, which is very infamous because that was the first and last time we saw Edward Norton as the Incredible Hulk.
The only time we'll see him as the Incredible Hulk.
In that movie, they had no faith in it. And I remember they were advertising the after credit scene with Tony Stark coming in. He's like, "Hey, I heard you have a problem. Who's this? The Hulk?"
Yeah. Oh.
And then we also moved on. We got Get Smart, which was,
I loved that movie so much. My grandfather, shout out to my papa, took me to see that. And I loved that movie. I used to watch that movie all the time on my DVD player. And I remember getting it for Christmas and just laughing my booty off, even in the theater. I thought that movie was genius words.
Oh my
God.
God.
That's saying a lot for me.
Also, we also had The Love Guru, which fucking sucked.
Yeah, another bad one with
WALL-E, which is one of the best Pixar movies of the 2000. It made me cry. And then we had Wanted, another movie with James McAvoy.
Shout out to James McAvoy again.
Which was the one that got him noticed because he did X-Men right after this.
Yeah, and this was also the time right before when I was talking about earlier with Penelope.
Yep.
So 2008 was the year of Mr. McAvoy, and also I remember it was also the year for Abigail Breslin because here's another movie with her as American Girl doll.
That was an American Girl doll movie?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I just saw it. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, there was a lot of people in this movie, like Chris O'Donnell, Joanne Cusack, Stanley Tucci, Max Terriot, Willow Smith. I remember her being in that movie.
Oh my God.
Oh, so cute and wholesome. Okay, that's all. But shout out to Get Smart. It was one of my favorites. I have to rewatch that. July. We got Hancock, Tell No One, The Wackiness, The Garden Party, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, Journey to the Center of the Earth with the one and only Brendan Fraser, Meet Dave, oh God, The Stone Angel, here it comes, y'all, The Dark Knight, Mamma Mia, can't forget about Space Chimps.
I actually like Space Chimps, kind of.
What the hell? Trans-Siberian. Oh no, Trans-Siberian. Oh my God, I couldn't even say that word. Boy A, Brideshead Revisited. I don't know what the hell that movie is. Step Brothers and the X-Files. I Want to Believe. Okay.
So Dark Knight was the best movie of the whole month.
Yeah, period.
That pretty much, The Dark Knight is considered the best Batman movie and the best comic book movie of all time. And along with Iron Man and say what the Hulk, superhero movies really started to get their footing in 2008.
Yeah, that was the start of the what we know now. Because then also during this time of the month, Hellboy 2 was also released, and I know you
I love
really
Hellboy
enjoy
2.
that.
It's such a great movie. I wish they can do the third one.
Do you think even with the new one with David Harbour, did you think that was good?
No.
Will Ron Perlman always be your Hellboy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because that Guillermo, the thing I like about Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy is that it felt very mystical and like they upped it in the second one. That's why I think the second one's the better one than the first one.
Wasn't Seth MacFarlane in one of them?
He was Johann Strauss in the second one, the guy with the smoke guy with the glass dome. That was him. He was a motion capture and a voice actor.
That's what I thought. Because I remember him like doing advertisements for it. And also
weird,
Doug Jones is also like a talent of himself who needs an Oscar.
Yeah.
We also had at this time Hancock, another quote unquote like superhero movie. I remember wanting to see this. This was like the superhero film for like Will Smith, and then also Jason Bateman was on it in it, and I was like, ooh, you know.
I think that Hancock is missed potential.
Why do you say that?
It should have been rated R. Like, you got a movie about a guy with powers who's a burnout. He's a like sleazeball. He gets drunk and everything. If it was rated R, it would have been like The Boys, kind of, if you think about it. But like with Will Smith, he won't do a rated R movie. I just think that it could have been better rated R.
Interesting. Okay.
It was okay, but I just feel like it definitely could maybe do a sequel.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with bringing it back. I feel like now. Journey to the Center of the Earth. With Josh Hutcherson and Brendan Fraser. Seth Meyers was in this. I had no idea. I forgot. Okay, but I love Brendan Fraser, even though I really wasn't a fan of this film. But I love Brendan Fraser. So I haven't seen it in like 15 years. Meet Dave. That was a movie.
That truly was the movie.
Oh God, Eddie Murphy as a robot person thing.
With the many Eddie Murphys.
There's too many of them that tried to make him funny. I thought it was just a really awkward movie.
It kind of was.
Mamma Mia, I remember going to see in theaters, and I just remember I didn't love it. I wanted to like it, but I don't think it was for me and the target audience. Like, I enjoy musicals, but it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I thought it was too over the top. I didn't love it. But yeah, I don't know what Boy A was.
Me neither.
But I do remember Step Brothers being advertised a lot, and like this was the time of like the continuation of like the Will Ferrell comedies of like that's what they were.
Yeah.
For like when I was going to middle school, like if you didn't see Step Brothers or like the movies that were in that Will Ferrell like universe, then you were like out of touch. Like of like that school. Like, or I should say any of the like, you know, that atmosphere, but like, you know, Adam McKay is also really good with this direction with that.
Yeah.
You know, because Adam McKay, you all know, worked on the Anchorman movies. He also did The Other Guys, which is one of my favorites. He did Anchorman 2. He was one of the writers for the Ant-Man movie. He did Big Short. He did Vice, and then he did the not so great Don't Look Up. So yeah. And then also I just want to acknowledge the X-Files. I really didn't get into this X-Files, but I forgot they released a movie. Did you ever watch the X-Files?
From time to time.
Do you like it?
I liked it. I do think it's interesting how Final Destination started off as a X-Files episode.
Really?
Yeah, the original script, they made it for an X-Files episode, but it got canned, so they said, let's just turn it into a movie.
Oh, interesting. I never knew that. Interesting. All right, well, that's what we have for July. I'm also not, going to add on to the Dark Knight, because I also agree that's like one of the greatest movies probably of that time to be released and is remarkable in every single aspect. So, Mac, you want to move on to August?
August, we got The Midnight Meat Train, The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, Swing Vote, Pineapple Express, Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, 2, What We Do Is Secret, Tropic Thunder, Fly Me to the Moon, Mirror, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, The Rocker, Death Race, Hamlet 2, The House Bunny, The Long Shots, The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning, Traitor, Babylon AD, College, Disaster Movie, Gold to Living Dream, and I Serve the King of England.
There were so many movies released during this time. Oh my God, there was more than the summer months, for June and July. This one had the most. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Midnight Meat Train. I don't think it's that bad of a film.
Mm-hmm.
I like Bradley Cooper a lot. So I want to acknowledge that. We got Brendan Fraser again and following the Journey to the Center of the Earth with the Mummy. But what movie you want to acknowledge, Mac?
I want to acknowledge for August. I want to acknowledge Tropic Thunder, which is probably the funniest movie and the most quotable movie, and a movie that you try to cancel. This was the other movie that had RDJ back on the map.
Yes. And one that got him serious award recognition.
It was funny, but they try to cancel him. Like, oh, he was in blackface. Like, did you guys not get the joke?
Mm-hmm. I remember Ben Stiller trying to talk about it because, it wouldn't have fit for a movie for today's time period. So it kind of works with the same way as Blazing Saddles,
Yeah. Even though Justin
released. But go ahead, what you were saying.
Oh, even though that Justin Theroux and Ethan Coen helped write the screenplay with Ben Stiller.
Mm-hmm. It was nominated for an Academy Award, a BAFTA, Screen Actors Guild Award for Robert Downey Jr. And while he and Cruise received nominations for a Golden Globe Award. So Tom Cruise also got a recognition.
He was funny.
Tom Cruise is really good in this movie. Even though he is a Scientologist, he's really good at playing one of those Hollywood agents. He's really good in it. He's so unrecognizable. He went into full force and full character. It's great. So he's an executive. I said the wrong thing. And I'm gonna say it here. The character of Tom Cruise, Les Grossman, the profane, the ill-tempered studio executive producing Tropic Thunder, various commenters and Hollywood insiders believe it was loosely based on a film producer, Scott Rubin, famous for his volcanic temper and poor treatment of others, and Harvey Weinstein.
I was gonna say, because that was a little too dead on to what that had to be because Tropic Thunder is really just a big inside joke with a lot of people in the industry.
And you can see he has a little touch now. When I'm looking at the photos online right now, he kind of resembles Harvey in a way.
Yeah.
Oh dang. We gotta revisit this movie, Mac, for the show. Shout out if you guys want us to do a Tropic Thunder review. I think that would be fun. Let's see. I don't know any of the movies that were released the weekend of August 8th.
August 8th, let's see.
It was The Beer for My Horses.
Nah, freaking you're
I don't know any of those movies.
Yeah, me neither.
But Pineapple Express was also released during this time. This was like continuing on those hard R comedies of going with the Step Brothers and the Adam McKay universe. And this was the Seth Rogen and James Franco connection and their friendship. This is the continuing on of them, and the weed, the funniness, the craziness, and I think if I'm gonna pick the two out of this year that were released, which one do you think is better, Step Brothers or Pineapple Express?
I was gonna say Tropic Thunder is better than both of those, but between those, I'd probably say Step Brothers.
I agree with Step Brothers. Yeah, I remember also wanting to see the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants as well, because I was also a fan of the first one. But yeah. Oh yeah, The Rocker was also released.
Yep.
With Emma Stone. And that was also the same time House Bunny. I remember going to see House Bunny. Oh, Emma Stone had 2 movies released during that time. I remember seeing House Bunny. That was fun. And then also Disaster Movie, another crazy movie to release in theaters that starred Kim Kardashian.
Oh my gosh, curved the bullet.
As we move on to that, should we go? Do you want to acknowledge anything else?
No.
All right, let's move into September. In September, we had released Bangkok Dangerous, Surfer Dude, Burn After Reading, The Family That Prays, Proud American, Towelhead, The Woman, Battle in Seattle, The Duchess, Ghost Town, Hound Dog, Igor, Lakeview Terrace, Local Color, My Best Friend's Girl, Choke, Eagle Eye, Fireproof, Forever Strong, Miracle at St. Anne, and Nights in Rodanthe. Not as strong as the summer.
No.
During this time, I think Burn After Reading was one of the Coen brothers' like weakest films.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that movie?
Which one?
Burn After Reading.
No, I have not seen that one.
It's definitely one of the, I think, the weaker Joel and Ethan Coen films. It's not my favorite, but I do think Brad Pitt was really funny in it. He just reminds me of very much of like a Jim Bro. Just the way he looks. But also the only movie I remember seeing a lot of advertisement for was Eagle Eye, because Shia LaBeouf was.
Oh yeah, that was
Oh my gosh, I remember seeing so much advertisement for Eagle Eye, but I really didn't see any of these movies like when in 2008, except for maybe advertisement for Igor, but Igor looked terribly animated.
It was weird with that movie, to be honest with you.
It's the one that's based on like Frankenstein's.
Yeah, it's there's assistant Igor.
Yep. I was gonna say, do you want to say anything or should we just move?
Lakeview Terrace was okay.
Oh.
Also, yeah, no, I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing for this month either. Like,
let's go to October.
Okay,
notable
good.
movies, we got Beverly Hills Chihuahua, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, Rachel Getting Married, Body of Lies, The Express, the Ernie Davis Story, Quarantine, Flick, The Elephant King, Max Payne, Morning Light, The Secret Life of Bees, Sex Drive, W, What Just Happened, High School Musical 3, Pride and Glory, Passengers, Saw 5, The Haunting of Molly Hartley, the other end of the line, Rock and Roll, and Zack and Miri Make a Porno, aka the movie that it's all right.
It's character by Kevin Smith.
I like Kevin Smith.
He's not my favorite. I shouldn't be too mad at him because he's from Jersey. Okay. What do you want to talk about?
High School Musical 3.
Yeah. Hell yes. I was so excited to see High School Musical 3. I was so excited. And I kid you not, I still have my popcorn bucket for going to see the movie and it has all the characters on it. I loved High School Musical 3. It made me cry. I loved all the songs. The cast. Is it great? No, but it was a fine send-off to the series.
I thought it came out in 2011. I was wrong. This is the first High School Musical movie to come out in theaters.
Yeah, it was. It was the only one to be released in theaters too. So, because the first two were released on TV, and the sequel was released on my birthday. I felt like such a lucky girl when that movie premiered on my birthday. But yeah, The Secret Life of Bees was also a popular movie because I was just going into 7th grade, and this was like a popular book. A lot of like the kids were reading. I just didn't get to read it.
I never read it or
no, neither did I. I did see it though. It made me feel depressed, but I think it's happy from what I remember. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Also,
I'm looking through all these movies. I haven't seen these movies in years.
Also, special shout out to The Express. It was a really good biopic movie.
I wanted to say, you mentioned this last time in one of the podcast episodes, but Alex Payne.
Max Payne? What the fuck? Yeah, that was
I was so excited to discuss that, but Max Payne.
That was the movie they got Mark Wahlberg to do instead of like the Uncharted movie that he was probably going to do as Nathan Drake.
Yes.
It was fine. Like, I didn't really think about it at all.
I remember getting also advertisements of City of Ember. That was also a big movie that was advertised. I think my sister read it as well. And she really wanted to see it. And then it just being out like, okay. And also Saoirse Ronan was in it.
Oh, yeah.
A young Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah. Saoirse, whatever her name is. I think Saoirse. I think it's Saoirse. Like, it's Rosie, like R-O-I-S-E.
I called her Saoirse.
It's not that. I'll tell you that. But yeah, no. It was whatever. That month's not. Can we move on to the next one?
Next month? You don't want to talk about October? Okay. All right. So moving on to October, we had The Boy in Striped Pajamas, Madagascar 2, Escape from Africa, Repo, the genetic opera, excuse me, Role Models, Soul Men, Slumdog Millionaire, Quantum of Solace, Bolt, Lake City, Special, Twilight, Australia, Four Christmases, and Milk.
So this is November, by the way. You said October.
Oh, whoops, sorry, y'all.
Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Never watched it. I only know the ending.
It's so sad.
I know it's sad, and I remember in school they played this. I think in English class, and there was kids crying, and I was just like, walked in like, what did I miss?
It's a very depressing film. It's a very depressing film. I don't recommend it for every Friday night movie, but it's one that felt very depressing to watch. It's very, very sad. But if you want a happy note, Madagascar is always fun.
That was one of the last Bernie Mac movies. He passed away this year.
It's true.
He was Alex's dad.
Yeah, he was. I love Bernie Mac.
But Madagascar 2 was funny.
It is funny. It's not. I think the Madagascar movies don't get enough credit because I think they're fine. Like, they're fine sequels. Like, if I'm gonna show anybody like if I'm gonna show my kids them, I would show the Madagascar movies.
Same.
Role Models is fine. I remember the kid who was like on That's So Raven was in it.
Oh,
the one who used to annoy Raven.
Bobby
Stanley.
J. Thompson.
Yes.
Also,
he was in it.
Christopher Mintz Place was in here. McLovin.
Yes, McLovin was in it.
But can I get a special shout out to Repo the Genetic Opera?
Yeah.
It's one of my. Oh my god, I love Repo.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it was in it.
Yeah, and the director did Spiral, Darren Lynn Bousman. He's from Saw fame.
Really?
Yep.
I never seen this.
It's good. It's a neo-gothic rock opera.
Okay.
And it's so good. It's based off the 2002 opera thing. It's such a cult classic. It's pretty much, I consider it the modern day version of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I love Repo. Also, Soul Man. Soul Man is pretty funny.
Soul Man. Oh, Bernie Mac also. That's one of the last Bernie Mac movies as well. I remember that getting advertised.
But can we talk about Slumdog Millionaire? I didn't watch Slumdog Millionaire. That came out on my birthday.
I didn't like it, really.
What is it even about anyway? Is it about like an Indian kid going on Jeopardy or something?
Basically.
Okay. What about Quantum of Solace, which is considered it's either, which one is that the one that people don't really like more, or
I pretty much
okay, because I was like, it's the most like what do you call it?
It's definitely one of the weaker James Bond movies.
Okay, because Casino Royale was the one everyone loved, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it was weird because this was before we had like Skyfall, and that's like one of the best ones.
That Skyfall will forever be my favorite James Bond movie.
Also, Bolt. Gotta love Bolt.
Bolt. Oh, that movie made me cry so much. Oh.
I like the song when they're traveling.
That's
like,
cute.
There's no home. Like, that's a good one.
I like the one with this. That's the one you're referring to with Billy Ray Cyrus, right?
Yep, that's the one.
That's the one. And now it's sad because now there's a strained relationship between Miley and Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh. Also, Twilight, of course.
Twilight. That I'm gonna say it now. Speaking of soundtracks, this Twilight soundtrack, the first movie, is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Paramore song.
Oh my god.
Decode. Oh my god. I was like listening to that and I was like, this song is epic. That song is epic. I have a soft spot for Australia with Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman. I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
But Four Christmases I've always loved with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon. This is like one of the many Vince Vaughn movies that's a Christmas movie. You know, because he's also Red Claws.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then Milk, you know, Sean Penn with his Oscar-winning movie. Yeah, good movie, good message. You know, it's a sad story.
Sad tale, yeah.
Sad tale, but it's a good Gus Van Sant movie. So I will give it. Yeah, I enjoy Milk. Okay, now anything else, or no? Should we move on to December?
December, the last month, we got normal movies. We got Cadillac Records, Extreme Movie, Frost Nixon, Punisher Warzone, The Reader, Che, Dark Streets, The Day the Earth Stood Still, Delgo, Doubt, Gran Turismo, Time Cries, Where God Left His Shoes, The Wrestler, 7 Pounds, Bedtime Story, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Marley and Me, Valkyrie, and Defiance.
Okay, yeah. Oh my goodness, these are so many. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There's actually a couple of good ones in here. The Beyonce movie is not good. That's listed in here. The Cadillac Records. Not really good. I want to acknowledge in here, whatchamacallit? I can't say it. The Wrestler.
The Wrestler, I love
Darren
that movie.
Aronofsky. I think that
Darren
movie really
Aronofsky.
good with Mickey Rourke. I actually have the screenplay for that on my bookshelf. I think it's very, very, very,
such
very
a
good.
great movie. Like it really being a
great movie.
Being a wrestler fan, it is very like good.
Yeah, and then we also got 7 Pounds. I think that's one of the better Will Smith movies.
I think my favorite.
Oh, go ahead.
My favorite movie in the entire month is probably Gran Torino.
That movie is probably my favorite out of all of them, besides The Wrestler. But my younger self, my 7th grade self, would have said, "Oh, Marley and Me." I do have a warm spot for Marley and Me.
Did you cry?
Breaks. Absolutely.
I figured that.
I'm gonna cry in that movie. Also, I need to add to that list Revolutionary Road. I love that movie with Sam Mendes as the director. Oh my god, that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. The ending is so good to that movie. Oh, love that movie. It's so good. Benjamin Button is also really good. Some people call it overrated, but it's a David Fincher movie. I really like it. But also my 7th grade-year-old self would like to say that she also really loved Bedtime Stories. I don't think it also gets enough credit.
Yeah, it was one of the better Adam Sandler movies at that time.
It was, and I think it's still one of Adam Sandler's best movies. I think. Oh, I like The Raining Gumballs.
Me too. It had a good ending too.
It did have a good ending. I like the hotel aspect to it too. Like they were trying to build a whole story, and Kerry Russell and the kids. It just felt so warm. It felt like a good Christmas movie.
Yeah.
During release of time, that was like the movie I saw during my Christmas break from the school holidays and stuff. Oh, but yeah, that don't have much to say about the other ones.
Yeah. So 2008, really, really good year. Not a lot of bad movies. A lot more good than bad, to be honest with you. And like, it shows how some of these movies that we consider our favorites, they're 15 years old. So Iron Man, The Dark Knight, Marley and Me, In Rogues, Tropic Thunder, Speed Racer, they're all 15 years old.
Yeah, I think we need to go back and definitely pick one of these movies and do like a retrospective of it.
Yeah. So what do you say in 2008 is your favorite and worst movie?
I definitely said this earlier that The Dark Knight is definitely one of my favorites. I think the worst movie I've seen out of all these, it might be, just from going off this list, I want to say it may be superhero movie, because that was one of the weaker, like, all of them were very weak, but like the comedy movies, the spoofing movie, horror movies that we were talking about earlier, definitely probably that. Because everything I at least went to the theater at the time when I was going in 2008, I didn't mind all the movies I've seen, or at least I enjoyed the movies that I went to go see. So
I think for me, it's probably going to be Iron Man is my favorite, in like a really close second to The Dark Knight. The worst movie is probably definitely I'd probably say one of the spoof movies, probably Meet the Spartans, to be honest with you, or superhero movie.
But I do want to go check out some of these movies though from when I'm seeing and revisit some of them. But yeah, what was your favorite movie in 2008, y'all? Let us know in the comments or message us.
Yeah, but that's gonna be it for this week's episode. We are very tired and I need to use the bathroom badly.
All right, guys, next week though, or next time when you hear us, we're going down another memory lane. We're talking the Shrek movies.
Yeah. Somebody once told me the world's gonna roll me. Yeah, I can sharpen stool in the shed. So yeah, let us know your favorite Shrek movies and let us know your favorite memories of 2008 film and everything, and what were some of your favorite and least favorite movies. But until next time, I've been Mac, and this has been Kristen. We'll see you all in the next episode. Peace.
Bye. Don't forget to follow us on our socials.
Yep.
Bye.
Fuck you in the lanes you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch. Nah, all that shit it fits. Rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star. I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue honeys. I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat laid back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah.